they'll join. If not, so I have some topics that I want to discuss with those debates that I want to get off my chest. But if they don't join, then it's cool. Because first, we were going to talk about the NBA, the state of the NBA at the All-Star break. This is like the midpoint of the season, so we got to talk about that.
The playoff
But
race.
yeah, but I also wanted to throw in a few debates if they joined, but they didn't. So
Yeah,
we're just going to talk
especially
about the state of the NBA.
especially the trade market. I mean, the buyout market, because
Yep,
we got to talk about that too, because
Russ, John Wall,
Kevin Love. I mean, there's a long list of people that are available that can help a team, even free agents like Melo, DeMarcus Cousins, where they could fit in.
So, welcome everyone to the 16th episode of Some Casual Takes, a podcast hosted by me, Stephen Pepper, featuring other sports fans debating interesting topics with the most casual takes. This episode is brought to you by no one. Today, I'm just here with Chris. Hopefully, more people join. But for now, this is just going to be talking about the state of the NBA at the All-Star break. Are there any events tonight? Is it celebrity game tonight?
We have the Rising Stars, Rising Star game and Celebrity. Those are the two events that are happening tonight. They have a practice at 12:30
in Utah.
Yeah,
NBA All-Star
Salt Lake City,
in Utah.
The biggest event of the season.
But before we go into the All-Star, I want to see where your head is at. So we're at the All-Star break. It's not really the midpoint, but we call it the midpoint of the season. Who do you think is the NBA final? What do you think the NBA Finals matchup is right now at the All-Star break?
With the standings right now and with the teams that are leading, at the number 1 seed in the East and the number 2 seed, if it's the conference final or the NBA final, Milwaukee and Boston are the two teams that will potentially be, but it's going to be Boston, obviously, in the NBA Finals in the East. And the Western Conference, it's dicey because we saw the Denver Nuggets at the number 1 seed and Memphis. And, of course, the Phoenix Suns made the mega trade for Kevin Durant. But I definitely think that it's going to be Phoenix and either Golden State in the NBA Finals, potentially.
You think Golden State?
I don't think the Warriors, if they keep playing bad basketball or if they can turn it around, there might be a change if the Warriors can click and just get wins. Because right now, everybody knows in the league, when you're the NBA champions and you won the championship, the target is on your back and everybody's coming for you every single night to beat you and want to win that championship. So obviously the big question will be for the Warriors' health and if the team can gel together, because right now it's beginning to look daunting because the Warriors are the 9th seed in the standings and time is running out.
So you got Phoenix in the West, correct? As your number 1 West team. And
if when Durant gets back, when KD gets healthy, we're gonna have to see what they'll do.
And then I'm assuming, who are you picking against Bucks Boston then? Because you brought both teams, but who would you pick today?
Based on the Bucks record, and there's still one game. It's 40. Boston's 42-40-17. Milwaukee's 41-17. So between the two teams and the record-wise, I'm probably going to have to go with Boston because they've been clicking all year long with Joe Mazzulla taking over. Now Mazzulla's got the multi-big contract, and Tatum's playing like an MVP. And, of course, this is a Celtics team that they have unfinished business getting back to the NBA Finals because they want to prove a point. They want to say, hey, we're not going to we lost to Golden State last year. We want to be the team to win the championship. So I think Boston has a chance of getting to the NBA Finals in the Eastern Conference. And we have to wait and see because things are getting dicey.
Boston and Milwaukee is going to be really close.
It's dicey. I mean,
it's going to be – I think it goes either way. But
yeah, it's going to go to a game 7 like last season.
I'm going to swing Boston. Because I think top to bottom, Boston has a better roster.
Yeah, because they've made a lot of improvements.
That man Giannis Antetokounmpo is a bad man, and he's proven that he can perform in the playoffs. But I'm going to take Boston because top to bottom, I think they have the better roster.
And last season,
I'm sliding Phoenix out in the West.
Because last year You already know the Bucks were the NBA champions. They beat the Bulls, of course, and they also took down the they had that Bucks series, and we already know that Giannis was all alone because Middleton got hurt. But Milwaukee made a lot of changes in the deadline. Let's not forget the Bucks got Jay Crowder, and they also got rid of Serge Ibaka as well. But Crowder coming in is like filling in for PJ Tucker kind of, because Tucker was like the guy who helped them win the championship overall back in 2021. So this will be this will be dicey. We'll have to wait and see what the Bucks will do and what Milwaukee will how the Bucks will be playing.
The Suns are actually like surprisingly like deep. People kind of thought that they traded away their whole bench for Kevin Durant. I'm watching the game against the Clippers last night. They lost though, because that just proves how good the Clippers are. But they got that Okogie dude giving him 24. Terrence Ross is going to be an underrated pickup in playoff time. I think people are going to realize. He gave him 16 points. He was missing a lot of threes last night, but that's some nice bench scoring that. And if they get another person in the buyout market, Phoenix is going to have a nice bench.
Yeah, the Suns obviously
a crazy bench, but they're going to have a nice, like, serviceable bench.
Yeah, the Suns definitely made a lot of good improvements. They got Durant, but they traded away a bunch of assets for KD, but they got Terrence Ross from the Magic. The Orlando Magic are going to buy out another guy who's also going to be on buyout watch will be RJ Hampton. He is not with the team currently right now.
That's
so he
a young
might,
guy too. A young guy and he bought out.
Yeah, he's not with the team because apparently he wants to play for a contending franchise. And Orlando, obviously,
Boston, correct?
He was with Denver, but the Nuggets traded him away in that Aaron Gordon deal, and he really didn't want to get traded. He didn't want to get traded. He said,
I was thinking Romeo Langford, my bad.
Yeah, but he didn't want to get traded. Like Hampton said, I don't want to be traded. I don't want to go to Orlando. And Gary Harris was involved in the deal too. Gary was also traded away in the deal. And he said, I don't want to get traded. A few Nugget players were saying, hey, we're not trading you away. We're keeping you. And when the deadline comes along, we know when the trade deadline happens, people get screwed over, and it happens a lot.
Yeah, so right now, I'm just going to recap what I said. So right now, in the Western Conference, I think the favorite should be Phoenix. A lot of people are going to – I see a lot of people still picking Denver. I think the favorite right now should be Phoenix. You got two guys who have proven to go for 40 in the NBA Finals, and Devin Booker and Kevin Durant on the same team. Veteran Chris Paul, he's been there. DeAndre Ayton, say what you want, he's been there. That's a nice core NBA Finals four right there.
We have to wait and see.
They're actually surprisingly deep, like I just said. They're actually surprisingly deep. I don't, how do you pronounce that guy's name? It's like
Longdale?
Josh Okogie? I forgot.
Yeah, Okogie. Yeah, the Suns, they have a
they also went for 24 last night. That's a nice little piece. Terrence Ross, underrated pickup. Didn't make his threes last night, but hey, that's nice bench scoring. And TJ Warren, he hasn't played in 2 years, but that's just another piece. So this is surprisingly
a former. He came back. He came back to Phoenix.
Yeah. And if they get another person in the buyout market, this is going to be a nice little bench right here that people aren't giving credit to.
And they also traded away, let's not forget, they traded away Dario Saric for Darius Bazley, and they also got Biyombo, Okogie.
Bazley didn't play last night.
Yeah, they got Steph's brother, Lee, Damon Lee. They got him as well. So Phoenix, keep in mind, even though they are a playoff team, we have to see what they can do because Dallas, of course.
6 threes last night, bro.
I mean, they played the Clippers.
You'll take that. You'll take that. The Clippers are actually really good. I actually have a lot of stock in the Clippers. I think if they're healthy, I have a lot of stock in Clippers. And
that's the bigger question. The big question is, we're already at the halfway point.
Great, but they got Eric Gordon. That's a nice little bench scoring piece.
Yeah, and the bigger question is, what is the King gonna do? The LA Lakers, they're fighting.
We'll get to Lakers in a second.
But we're gonna get to them later.
In the East, it's going to be really close because I think Boston and Milwaukee are the two best teams in that conference, and that's going to go 7. I hope they match up in the Eastern Conference Finals because I can't wait to see it. But I'm going to give Boston the edge in a 7-game series because I think from top to bottom, Boston has the better overall team than Milwaukee. I wouldn't be surprised if Milwaukee wins, but I'm going to take the team that was there last year and has the better roster top to
unfinished bottom. Business. That's what the Celtics call it.
They should be on a mission in the playoffs. They should be on a mission in the playoffs. So
because the Celtics, they said it all year. They even said, Jason Tatum said after losing that game to Golden State, I did not pick up a basketball for about a month. Jaylen Brown said it was very, very heartbreaking to see when we went to the final and to lose. It was depressing. And a few other players talked about it as well. So I think when it comes down to the Eastern Conference, you got Philadelphia. They're in the fight as well as the 4th seed. Cleveland is the 5th seed. Brooklyn is number 5. The New York Knicks are 6th. The Miami Heat are 7th. And then right now, it's literally a dogfight for the play-in tournament between Washington, Toronto, Chicago, and Indiana.
Chicago has a 6-game losing streak.
And the Bulls, I don't think that we already know about the Bulls, and we know about when the break is over with, there's Alonzo Ball. People said, what are you doing? Alonzo Ball update. Lonzo.
Is he going to play this season?
No, from recent reports, he was looking okay because he was on the treadmill running and he was out there shooting. But from recent Bull reports, there's no chance of him playing at all this year. We're already at the midway point of the year, and there's no reason to put him out there. So they should just bench him for the rest of the year, and he could play next year because his knee is not 100%. He said, my knee is still making weird sounds. I can't really jump or run. So I'm probably going to sit out for the rest of the year. So the Bulls, obviously, they're screwed. The Raptors, they're 10th right now. And I don't think they're making it.
That Raptors chemistry just isn't there.
And they're not the championship team because everybody's gone.
A lot of their core from that championship team, but like the chemistry, especially losing Kyle Lowry, I think is underrated for that team's chemistry.
And Norman Powell and a lot of other vets, but Toronto,
they're not clicking.
And then Washington, they're the 9th seed.
Fred VanVleet-led team just isn't clicking. But I want to ask you real quick. So I gave you my finals pick. I think you already gave yours too. Just like really quickly. So you agree it's Phoenix in the West and Boston in the East?
Yeah. And then I think that's going to happen because both teams are high powered and both teams have a lot of all-stars and a lot of.
Who are you taking to win that?
I think that Boston wants it more because they want to prove a point by saying we were this close to winning and we lost that series. We want to make a statement saying we have unfinished business to be here. And the Celtics have had a tailspin of a year with a lot of the drama that happened in the offseason, from Udoka losing his job to who's going to be the coach for the Celtics, the Gallinari injury. Let's not forget Gallinari was out. So Boston overall.
Gallinari comes back, bro. I forgot.
Yeah, and people saying he's going to come back.
Rotation. He's probably going to come off the bench.
Yeah, and then Mazzulla is going to have to give him on a restriction. But
full-time coach now. You see that yesterday? Congratulations to Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah,
but basically means Udoka got fired. So
I mean, Udoka's not fired. He's just not with the team anymore. Because I said, well, isn't he with the team? No, when he got suspended, he's not participating in any activities of the team. He's not talking to the players. So now that Mazzulla took the job, he's obviously going to be looking somewhere else because there's still a lot of coaching vacancies. This NBA season, I've been hearing a lot of rumblings about coaches being fired potentially. There's a report about from the Bulls. I mean, I'm going to look at the NBA teams that are the bottom of the West or the teams that are not in the playoffs, but from reports, the Houston Rockets are looking at a new head coach, potentially.
Styles has to go. He's got
Stephen Silas
AAU program running down there.
So Stephen Silas is potentially bad. So potentially Stephen Silas is out next season, or potentially when the season ends. So Mazzulla might take. I mean, Udoka might take that job. The Spurs are okay. I mean, they're not going to fire Pop. Pop is not losing his job.
He might retire soon, though.
Yeah, because Pop might hang it up. The Detroit Pistons might fire Dwayne Casey from reports because they've been bad and miserable because of everything that's happened.
Well, it doesn't hurt that Cade Cunningham, their leader, gets hurt. And
Cade's out, and then they got Wiseman there. So the Pistons need to fire Dwayne Casey.
Let's see how they make Wiseman work.
Yeah, and then of course the Charlotte Hornets, they got Steve Clifford, but I think that Charlotte should get rid of Steve Clifford as coach. They fired what's his face last season, so they're not going to make a move like that. So there's still a lot of coaching.
If Curry gets his 5th ring, is he top 5 all time?
We have to see if he gets to the final because everyone's saying the Warriors are going to repeat. The dynasty is going to continue. No, he's not going to get his 5th because
no, let's say if he does. Let's say if he does. If he does get his 5th ring,
he's going to be one of the all-time greats. He's going to be tied with LeBron.
Tied with LeBron. So
or passes him.
You think he's going to pass LeBron all time?
I don't think he is. I don't think Curry is going to pass him because Steph has a long way to go.
Then what did you just say?
He's going to tie with LeBron for rings because
he's already tied with LeBron for rings. They both have 4.
Yeah. And if he gets his 5th, then he's going to go down as one of the all-time great point guards. If he gets his 5th ring.
He already is. He's already the consensus second best point guard.
But I don't think he's going to get his 5th because the Warriors have a 2.
If he does, will he finish top 5 all time? Because who's your top 5 all time right now?
The top 5 right now?
Yeah.
It's hard. History. I mean, it's hard for me to watch. For history, there's a lot of top 5 players I got. I got MJ, Kobe, LeBron, of course.
Yeah.
That one's dicey.
Kareem and Tim Duncan top 5.
Yeah, I got Kareem and Tim because Larry Bird's one of them too.
Ring, he would definitely pass Magic for me. I think he would pass Magic. I don't think there's that many things Magic Johnson does better than Curry, clearly, other than passing.
And shooting, because Steph just shoots 3-pointers off the bounce and just gets it and just chucks it.
If Curry gets his 5th ring, he'll be tied with Magic Johnson for rings. And then people would say, well, he has a couple rings with Kevin Durant. Bro, Magic Johnson has all of his rings with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he's a consensus top 5 player of all time. He was on super teams as well. So keep that same energy too. Like I said, there's not that many things. I mean, you could say rebounding, but Magic Johnson was 6'9". He should be a better rebounder. Steph Curry
is not a rebounder.
I don't think he'll be top 5 because my top 5 is Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, Kobe, Duncan. I think he'll be 6, but Steph Curry most definitely will pass Magic, and he will be knocking on the door of top 5 if he gets another championship. Because I agree. Even if you take the Kevin Durant rings away, that'll be 3 rings with his starting small forward being Harrison Barnes and Andrew Wiggins. So even without Kevin Durant, he has 3 rings. So you can take that Kevin Durant thing away from him. And even if Kevin Durant didn't join the team, who knows if the Warriors would have won another championship? I mean, Draymond Green actually said they probably wouldn't have repeated, but I don't know. They probably
because Golden State
they probably would have lost to Houston. But let's say who knows if they would have got actually 17 they would have lost to Cleveland. 18 they probably lose to
Houston.
19 they probably beat Houston. They beat Houston 19. I think they beat Houston without Kevin Durant 19 anyways. And Kevin Durant
did
in that series.
Because I remember here's the thing about the Warriors. I always have my buddy has really you have NBA books from the championship. Yeah, like in the room that I'm in. Yeah. I have my friends got I got the books from the Warriors championship and the dynasty, and they said so the dynasty started in 15 and 16 it was a complete shift because they broke the record for all-time wins, but the big question was if they would have beaten Cleveland if Draymond wasn't suspended. I don't think they would have because Cleveland turned it up and they wanted it more because it's unfinished business. But when you added KD against Houston in 17, the Warriors swept through everybody to get to the final. 18 was the toughest series for Houston, against Golden State, because I always said this before. If Cleveland played Houston in the finals, you made a video about, the Houston Rockets couldn't beat the the Cavaliers would not beat the Houston Rockets. I completely agree because with the roster Cleveland added in that 17 to 18 season, it was horrendous. And Harden,
defense in the league, second worst defense in the league.
And I remember talking about the Cleveland Cavalier rebuild, and we talked about the Cavaliers rebuild video when I said, of course, the Cavaliers are still not in the postseason. And in 2017 to 18, Kyrie Irving would get out of Cleveland, but they still had LeBron James, and they were winning games, but there were some games that were good and some games that were depressing to watch.
Yeah, I just want to pull up Steph's resume real quick. Going back to Steph because I finally pulled it up. So back to Steph. So if he gets his 5th ring, not only will Steph have 5 rings, he has a Finals MVP already, and if he wins this year, he'll have 2 because who's going to win Finals MVP above Steph on this team? He'll have
Nobody.
2 MVPs, and one of them was unanimous, one of the best peaks in NBA history.
He broke the. He was playing like he was insane. I remember he was shooting threes.
9-time All-Star. He was an All-Star Game MVP. Actually, All-Star MVPs don't matter on the resume, but All-Star Game MVP. He is an 8-time All-NBA team. 4 of those were first teams. He's a 2-time
three-point king.
Two-time three-point contest champion, the greatest shooter of all time.
Passing Ray Allen.
50-40-90 club in that 2016 NBA season, and the steals leader, and a 2-time scoring champ.
What about rookie of the year? Did he get rookie of the year?
All rookie first team. So if he wins his 5th ring, that is a top 5 resume. I would put Steph Curry. I would debate Curry being in the top 5 if he gets his 5th ring. Because who's competing with that? Not that many players can say they got 2 MVPs, 5 rings, 8+ All NBAs, 2, you know what I'm saying? Like, could 40, 50, 90 club in a season, could do it as efficient, could lead the league in scoring twice, and can do it on that efficiency of a Steph Curry. How many could 5 players say that? It's gonna get crazy.
The Western Conference will get dicey because the Warriors, they're gonna get back healthy, and we don't know when Steph's, because with the Golden State Warriors right now, everyone's talking about, oh yeah, they lost the Lakers. The problem is this year has been the injuries to a lot of guys. Clay has been out. Steph's been out. Andre Iguodala has been out of the lineup for about a month because he came back for a couple of games and he got hurt again. Some rookie they got is out right now, but he's not going to play again this season. And they made trades, and they're like, oh, they got Gary Payton back. No, he's still out, dude. As though Gary's not coming back until we don't know until after March. And they like, that's how injured he is.
Physical, right? He failed his physical.
Yeah,
right?
He had an abdominal injury in Portland. He didn't play to start the season because he had surgery. And right now, the Warriors traded away Wiseman, and my buddy was so sick of Wiseman. He's like, I'm so tired of that man. He's so annoying. That's what my buddy was like. He was actually cursed at how James Wiseman saying, I'm tired of that little petty boy. He gets hurt all the time. He's not healthy. He's like, well, last season he didn't play. Let's not forget he tore up his knee. Yeah, and he looked great in the G League. And then what happens again? Like, he gets hurt again. Yeah, like they need to move him or something. I mean, we got Kuminga and we got Moses Moody. They're the future. Wiseman's not the future. So trade him away somewhere where you can get more minutes. And then apparently now with the buyout market, there's a lot of buyout players or free agents the Warriors should try to go after because we're already at the midway point of the season and the playoffs are right around the corner. So if someone snaps their finger, tears up their knee, or sprains their ankle, you need to go to your bench. You need to you need to break open the glass and say, hey, I'm putting you in. Check in right now, because that's a good coaching method there.
Speaking of the buyout market, we have a couple guys. We have a couple vets on the buyout market, or at least getting close to being on the market. Got guys like Kevin Love, Russell Westbrook, John Wall. Chris, give me your destinations for some of these players, starting with Kevin Love. Where do you think Kevin Love goes?
Well, for Kevin, we know that it was the end of the era in Cleveland because the Cavaliers had Mobley and Dean Wade, of course, and Jared Allen. And last year they had Markkanen, and they had no room for Kevin Love. So I think that Kevin Love potentially should go somewhere where it's convenient for him. From reports, like I got on the phone right here, I'm thinking the Cavaliers, Kevin Love should go somewhere where it could be suitable for him. There seems like the Golden State Warriors are one option because I've been hearing rumors about that over the years saying Kevin Love should go to Golden State. Another rumor is people have been always wanting this for some time. Kevin Love going to the Lakers. People keep saying, let's bring him to the Lakers. Kevin comes to the Lakers.
Lakers are too deep. It would just be like Cleveland. We'll have no room for Kevin Love.
And obviously people say, bring Kevin Love to the Lakers. We should have a Cavaliers reunion. No, we've already had that before. I told my friends, we've already had that in the bubble. It was the Los Angeles Cavaliers in the NBA bubble with LeBron. So I don't think that the Lakers should not be a clear-cut destination for him. The Miami? Phoenix Suns, the Miami Heat should add him.
I think the Heat should be in that buyout market like right now. Pat Riley needs to stop going to sleep during the trade deadline, pick up that phone, call up Russ's agent, call up Kevin Love's agent. because this is a
and
team,
bring him in for work.
Chris,
Bring him in for workout.
Chris, this is a team that's been to 2 Eastern Conference Finals in this new decade. 2. They went to the NBA Finals to start the decade, and last season they were the number 1 seed and a Jimmy Butler shot away from going right back to the finals. This is a team that, although the roster doesn't look as pretty as Milwaukee's or as pretty as Boston's,
Philadelphia.
Although the roster might not look as pretty as Boston, although the roster might not have the best player like Milwaukee, this Miami team somehow always finds a way when it comes to the postseason to lock it down, lock in, overachieve, and get it done.
Because this Miami roster,
the problem with Miami is inconsistencies. They don't make enough moves. They don't make enough moves to add on to a championship team because they have. Yes, the core, like I said, the core might not look flashy. The core might not look like this dynasty core. But this core is proven they can get to an NBA championship with the Jimmy Butlers and the Adebayo, Eric Spoelstra core. They can get to the finals. The problem is Miami's not adding on to it. So this buyout market is make or break for them, or else their season is completely over.
Because with
Miami Heat team was wasted potential.
I'm going to mention the Miami Heat roster because we already know who's on the team, but the key guys that I have circled are Jimmy, Bam, Tyler Hero, Victor Oladipo, Duncan Robinson, even though he's been out for about a month with a finger injury. Gabe Vincent's been balling. And, of course, Max Strus. But there's a lot of other players on that team that have not played, like Omer Yusovic has not played because of his ankle.
What about that? What's his name? Martin?
Yeah, Caleb Martin.
Yeah. He's a sniper, right?
Yeah, he's a shooter. And then they got Lowry, who's been out because of back injuries, and they have Nikola Djokovic.
But Lowry's he's slow. I think they're trying to really get off Lowry because
they should have traded him away. They should have traded Kyle Lowry when they had the chance. But Miami in the buyout.
Russ. Say what you want about Russ. I didn't really like him on the Lakers, but man, could Miami use some speed from that point guard position if they get?
And then Kyle can come off the bench.
That playmaking speed, because they don't get that from Kyle Lowry. They could get that from a Russell Westbrook. This team they get like a Russ. They get like a playmaking point guard. And then look at their bench real quick.
Get him. The Miami Heat should get Russell Westbrook. And the other team that's in the running for Russ are the Clippers. The LA Clippers
their bench isn't that deep, can't lie. The fact because now Tyler Hero has to start because of no Lowry.
And Duncan Robinson. Let's not forget Duncan Robinson had finger surgery. And Duncan talked about it in the podcast saying last year, not playing in the playoffs sucked because Duncan was playing.
They prefer that Max Strus guy over Duncan Robinson.
And that was sad because Duncan talked about in the podcast saying, with Duncan Robinson, we've not seen him play. And someone talked about that saying it's a sad of grace. He got a big contract, played well in the regular season, and he was out of the rotation.
They really didn't like the fact that he couldn't play defense because I feel like that was the reason why they took him out of the rotation.
And he said not playing hurts. And when they were in big games,
really bad for your confidence, especially for a shooter.
Yeah,
we're like
he can space the floor.
Yeah,
but the Heat obviously they need to add Russ.
Good. We know Butler's going to turn into LeBron as soon as the playoffs start.
What about John Wall?
John Wall would have been bad, but I'd honestly take Westbrook today. I think Westbrook's much better than.
Yeah, because after the break, they're going to have, before they can get on the team, before they can start playing, they have to get a little workout in, and then they have to get in the rotation. For the other buyouts, we know the Mavericks, they added Justin Holiday from the Rockets, who's Drew's brother. They added him. So that's another key piece for Dallas, bringing him in the team, and he can play some spot minutes as shooting guard. Danny Green going back to Cleveland. That was a good move for Cleveland, bringing a 3-and-D guy who can shoot if he's
Is he much 3-and-D now at like 35 years old, bro?
If he doesn't brick any threes. That's the thing about Danny. As long as he doesn't brick the game winner in the playoffs. I'm looking
at Miami's bench. So Russ will give you speed starting on the ball other than Kyle Lowry. And then off the bench.
To come off the bench.
You get it off the bench. You get a Kevin Love who can bring a big who can space the floor.
And can set screens and can draw charges.
That's pretty good. That could be a team that can win a couple playoff games and Jimmy Butler turns into Game 6 LeBron again.
Yeah,
This
I
would
think
be a
that Miami
scary team
should.
that I could put some dark horse money on. But it's all up to
I
Pat
think
Riley to make the moves.
Miami should go for Kevin Love. I mean, the Heat should go after Kevin Love if they get a chance to. But the Golden State Warriors, they're, of course, in the running. Right now, from reports, Patrick Beverly is another name in the buyout market. And apparently they said the Clippers have engaged with Bevs on a return. And I don't think the Clippers should go for Pat Bev because the Clippers are in the running for Russell Westbrook as well, because Russ is over there probably, if they make the playoffs, Russ is probably going to be laughing at the Clippers and at the Lakers and say, you guys could have used me. I'm in the playoffs. You guys are in the I mean, we get that Russ did not have a good did not have a good time with the Lakers and everything. And someone called him a vampire from David Meneman's story. Like, he's a vampire. And I kept saying, don't call him that. And his wife had to say something about it and say, for my kids, I'm hearing a lot of stuff about my husband and all this other crap about my husband's not playing well. Oh, the Miami Heat are working out Cody Zeller from reports.
Yeah.
That's another. And I have the free agency list right here. It says available free agents that are still available. LaMarcus Aldridge was with the Dallas Mavericks recently working them out. Yeah, Aldridge was out there working out.
I don't like these like slow old guys, to be honest.
DeMarcus Cousins is still out there. Boogie was seen in LA working out with a couple of players. Myers Leonard was seen in LA working out with a couple of guys. If you remember Leonard, he was involved in the controversial Twitch stream.
He was on the Heat.
Yeah, Tristan Thompson was seen on television, but he was seen working out. Yeah. Hassan Whiteside was in the weight room, spotted in LA. I don't think that he's going to go to the Lakers. No. Power forwards that are available. The top of the list.
The Clippers need some rim presence.
Top of the list for power forwards. You know who's on the top of the list? The Melo Man, Carmelo Anthony.
No one's signing Melo. No one's signing Melo.
Yeah, that's sad. Trevor Ariza, he's still on the list too.
These guys are too old. Like they're
done.
No one wants these old guys who can't move their feet anymore. You know.
Yeah, Serge Ibaka.
Because it didn't work out for the Lakers.
Yeah, Serge Ibaka is another big name. We already know that he's a champion. He won something with the Raptors. Things didn't really work out, the Clippers and Milwaukee, but he's another name on the list. They got Noah Vonleh. They have Paul Millsap needs to retire because he's old.
Half the guys you're listing should retire. Like Aldridge, it's done.
And then for small forwards, you got Maurice Harkless, Solomon Hill, Rodney Hood, Josh Jackson, Justin Jackson, Jake Layman, Alfonso McKetney, Eric Paschall, Tony Snell, and Lance Stephenson. And then Lance Stephenson, people are like, well, Lance can make – no, Lance Stephenson, he's trying to get back in the league, but Lance, his time is up in the NBA. I don't think he's going to be coming back.
Right now? Isn't Lance
No, he's in Indianapolis. My friend who was playing basketball, he played basketball for Wabash. He was in a workout with them, and Lance was still saying, I want to get back in the NBA. I'm working out every day, putting shots up. Still waiting that call. I was with the Pacers last season. They didn't bring me back, so I'm still wanting to play. And then at shooting guards, you got Amari Brooks, Jared Colbert, who was a top NBA draft pick who got waived. Avery Bradley's on the list as well, who was with the Lakers. And people said, Avery's not – nope, Avery Bradley's still out there. Wayne Ellington, who's old now, PJ Dozier, Etuan Moore, David Nwaba, Josh Primo, Nick Stauskas, DJ Stewart.
It's a bunch of guys who aren't going to get signed. You're just listening to guys who are going to get signed now.
And they have Lou Williams still on the list too. Lou Williams is retired. He should retire. And Patrick Beverly's still on the list too. So is
Pat Bev might get signed. He'll probably get signed.
I think someone should sign Pat Bev. In the buyout market, a team and Kemba Walker still. They got Kemba Walker. You got Rajon Rondo, who's not played at all. John Wall is still on the list too. But where do you think Wall should go with the buyout market? John Wall was with the Clippers. The Clippers, he got injured, had the abdominal injury.
Two teams, probably Miami or Chicago.
Yeah, and then of course, it says this on Twitter this is what NBA Twitter said from Windhorse. The Cavs could try to steer Kevin Love to the Western Conference during the buyout negotiation. So I don't think the Eastern Conference could be a good idea for Kevin. So the Western Conference, there's a lot of big teams in the West. The Suns are interested in Kevin Love. Phoenix,
Suns are
possibly
Mavs. Two teams that need a bench. I would
because
Suns, Mavs.
Yeah, and of course it's a big reunion for Cleveland because James Jones played with Kevin.
Yeah, he's the
So
Suns front office guy.
and
Do you
then
know what I don't understand?
Kyrie
Yeah, you know what I
is
don't
in
understand?
Dallas.
You know what I don't understand? Bro, seeing that Philly game, the Cleveland bench is so bad.
And it's terrible. I mean, JB is shortening. Bickerstaff has shortened up the rotation so much
it's
that
the starter. No, it's looking like a Tom Thibodeau lineup now. Like the starters are playing 40 minutes a game. Mitchell and
yeah,
Garland are all playing like 35, 40 minutes a game.
and they're gonna
And
wear out
the bench players are playing like what, 8 minutes max? Let me
because
look at the Philly game.
but look at who played and who did
Bickerstaff
not
is like
play.
I mean, okay, so like Garland played 43, Mitchell played 42. So that's what you're going to expect. Allen played 38, Mobley played 36, right? So like these guys are playing a lot. So no Love, right?
No Love.
Where was Rubio? Did he get hurt?
He was out. He was out because of knee management,
okay.
because of his right knee since he had surgery.
So
But
Dean Wade only plays 9 minutes, so okay.
he had no points at all in that game.
Karis LeVert had 28 minutes of just running on the court. This guy needs to pick it up. If Cleveland really wants to be a championship team, it's got to run through Karis LeVert. This is a problem. Like Karis LeVert, this is a problem. I always like the reference. I've never seen a bigger inconsistency in my life than when him and Donovan Mitchell each went for 41, and then the next game, Karis LeVert literally dropped 1 point. Yeah, you want to talk about the definition of inconsistency. Karis LeVert's last 3 games, 5 points, 4 points, 1 point.
That's just terrible because
He's
Cleveland.
Not playing 2 minutes. He's not playing 2 minutes. He's playing 26, 20, 26. Whoa.
That's really terrible for the team. And of course, with Cleveland, Rubio did not play, but you're forgetting about one other person who did not play, Cedi Osman. Cedi did not play in that game either because he was sick. The other funny story about Kevin Love leaves Osman as the lone player left from the LeBron James era because everybody else is gone. And they said, well, Cedi, he was going to be traded.
I still remember when Cedi Osman was at that Kevin Durant, LeBron, Kawhi Leonard workout.
Yeah, and then they were like, "What is he like?" My friend's like, "What is he doing there?
He's not an all-star." Doing at an all-star workout.
And then like, he's not an all-star. And then people said, "Well, the funny story about Cedi was he came there in a trade, and LeBron wasn't happy about him, saying, I don't like this. I don't know anything about this kid or who's this kid exactly."
Look at this game against San Antonio. They only played 4 bench players.
Yeah, and he's literally shortening the rotation. Of course, another big.
What's the point of kicking
having Robin Lopez there?
What's the point of kicking Kevin Love out the lineup if you're just going to give Dean Wade 6 minutes?
And then, of course, Robin Lopez. He's not played since. I got to look at the. Lopez has not played.
Robin Lopez has just been sitting on the bench.
He's sitting on the ground. He's not played a game in February since the 10th. He's not played since the 10th. And
he got 3 minutes. It was garbage time, basically.
Yeah, in garbage time. He was in a couple of games. I'm going to go up to the start of the season for stats. He
gets 7 to 8 minutes a game.
Yeah, in the Chicago game, he had 12 points against the Bulls. He had 12. And then going off of that, he
had 12. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the high scoring points he had in the game for Cleveland this season. And ever since then, he's only scored 9 points, 2 points, or he's not playing at all, or he has no points, or he has only like 2 points. But for Cleveland's bench, they seriously need to do something because looking at the roster right now and looking at the core, because now that Bickerstaff is shortening the rotation and having a couple of guys get in there, like Lamar Stevens, he played a couple of minutes for the first time. So the lineup now with Love gone is you got Allen, Diakite, Green, LeVert, Danny Green, Donovan Mitchell.
When you're looking at this Cavs bench, I hope Bickerstaff understands when they're going to go in the playoffs and they're going to play a Philly, they're going to play a Boston, they're going to play Milwaukee in round 2. They're good. Their benches are super important, and your rotation is extremely important in the playoffs. You're going to try to go to the NBA Finals, relying on a bench of Karis LeVert, the most inconsistent player to ever touch a basketball. Lamar Stevens giving you 2 points in 5 minutes. You're going to rely on an old Danny Green You're going to rely on Dean Wade giving you nothing. You're going to rely
And then,
on
of course,
Neto. You're going to rely on
then
Neto and Stevens giving you nothing. And then, no disrespect to Shetty Osman, but that man can't be your best bench player on the playoff team.
And you're also forgetting about somebody. You're forgetting about two other guys. Rubio did not play, but there's also another Cavalier player who has not played minutes at all this year because he's always injury prone. Dylan Swindler. Not Swindler. Windler.
Yeah.
He's not played at all this year, but the funny kicker is he's back now from health, from the injuries. I
still don't think that's a good bench when they come back. I still don't think that's a great bench to go. Like, you're going to have to go up against Boston with a guy like Malcolm Brogdon who can give you 20 off the bench. Who on Cleveland is competing with that? In the playoff,
that's terrible.
I'm just going to look at other teams' benches here. It's going to get real bad for Cleveland come playoffs.
Because right now, because last year, I remember saying the same thing. I was like, last season, the Cleveland Cavaliers were in the postseason race, and they were literally falling from the playoff race because of injuries to Jared Allen, of course. And you had Jared Allen out, you had Mobley out, you had a lot of other guys like Rubio, and Colin Sexton was out for the year. And of course, Darius Garland was having to put the load on his back. But still, the Cavaliers have a long way to go because right now with the buyout market, Cleveland should take the opportunity to look at who's available from free agency standpoint or buyout standpoint and grab them before the season ends because
they need a bench score bad.
Like I mentioned to you about free agents, like I told you about the free agency list, but going off of the list of free agents, who do you think Cleveland should sign? Because I don't know.
To be honest, they would be fine if Karis LeVert could give them a consistent 15 to 20 a night. They would be fine. Like it wouldn't be
for
like
Cleveland's position. For position wise,
if Karis LeVert can consistently give you 15 to 20, one of the reasons why they even traded for Karis LeVert last year in the first place, they would be fine. It wouldn't be nothing like special, but they would be fine. But the fact that he's giving you 2 points a game, he's only averaging 12 points. This is not good.
For small forward, I'm going to ask you for small forward free agents for Cleveland. There's a lot of free agents that are small forwards. So I listed off the free agent small forwards. You have Jake Layman, Lance Stevenson, and Tony Snell. And, of course, you got Mo Harkless, Solomon Hill.
No, there's no one to sign. There's no one to sign. They're going to roll their team. The free agency's there's no one to sign.
Yeah, and buyout. They should try to add their bench, or they should definitely try to add somebody to their bench because Cleveland, of course, has.
They're not going to give up. They're not going to give up Rubio for a buyout point guard.
They're not going to waive Rubio. They're not going to waive Ricky Rubio. I'm just talking about they should add.
They're going to have to roll their team. That's what I'm saying. They're going to have to roll their team.
But now that Kevin Love is off the team, now that Love's been traded, that leaves them one spot open. That literally leaves one roster spot wide open since he's getting bought out. But we have to wait and see.
Cleveland coming into the playoffs is going to ask – Bickerstaff is about to ask a whole lot. He already is. He's going to ask a whole lot out of his three best players, Mobley, Garland, and Mitchell, to all get 20 and to play 40 minutes a game. Not just 20. He's going to ask Mitchell to give him 30, and he's going to have to get Garland to give him 25. Like they're going to
be tired
a whole lot, and they're going to play 40 minutes. They're practically going to play the whole game. He's going to ask, and they're going to run into issues sooner or later.
Yeah, that happens in Cleveland every year. When it gets to the playoffs, injuries happen. Like I said, every single year in the postseason, not everybody's healthy. Everyone gets hurt, and there's literally you have a bench or no bench. So that's what's going to happen for Cleveland. It's going to be little to no bench. So the Cavaliers overall,
they're going to run like 8-man rotations in the playoffs.
And they're going to be tired. And some of those guys are G League guys as well. So with Cleveland situation, we have to wait and see what's going to happen because right now they're
going up against Boston, whose best bench players are guys
in Philly,
guys who are great. You got guys like a Brogdon and a guy who's shown to shoot lights out in big moments, like a Grant
and Blake Griffin. You got Blake there too. Let's not forget Boston also has Blake Griffin.
So you're going up against Grant Williams, Malcolm Brogdon with Dean Wade and Shetty Osman. That's not good. That's not.
Yeah. Good. And then of course you got Philadelphia. Philly's behind Cleveland, and if they met them in the playoffs, it'll be a sweep. I
It
mean, I
wouldn't
think
be a
if Philly
sweep.
was,
It would be close. I'd say
yeah, and
Philly in
then
like 6.
yeah, and then you got New
It'd be
York. I don't
competitive.
think Cleveland could. Yeah, that'll be competitive. And
Cleveland
Atlanta,
has what Cleveland has their Cleveland's going to be solid because they have the size to compete with Milwaukee and Philly. I mean, when you have Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, you offensively you can do some nice schemes to keep Joel Embiid or Giannis out of the paint and protect the rim. But I don't know, like off the bench, right? Like I'm taking Maxey or Melton over anybody on Cleveland's bench. You get what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yep. And of course, we should definitely mention about the other buyout with Wall being bought out by Houston. I definitely think that for John Wall, I think a good destination should be the Heat or the Chicago
Yeah,
Bulls because
it's going
Lonzo
to be
is
the
out.
Heat. It's
Yeah,
going to be the Heat of the Bulls.
yeah, and
Because
of
the
course
Bulls
you
can
got
still make one last push. Their season isn't over. They can make one last because what are they, the 9th or 10th seed right now? So like,
they're the Bulls are 11th. They're in the
ooh,
11th spot.
well they're probably
So
not far out though. They're probably like what a game back. Like they can still make a push if they really get serious. But that losing streak
yeah,
was terrible.
they lost in
But
Milwaukee last night, and
I want to talk
I'm just
about the
saying,
All-Star weekend though before we wrap
yeah,
up today's show. So we got the 3-point contest and the dunk contest. So there's no Simons in the 3-point contest. They replaced them with Randall. So the contestants are Halliburton, Hero, Heald, Horter, Lillard, Markkanen, Randall, Tatum. Who you got winning that?
boy, oh boy, that's going to be interesting because every year it's always Steph Curry or Clay in the 3-point contest. But I'm probably going to go with the two sleepers that I got. I got to pull up this little stat, my little NBA All Star Weekend
Yeah.
event board because I don't always keep tabs on who's in what events. So let's see for the All Star game. Can this thing come up because looking forward to it.
I can't lie. These last couple of years, the 3-point contest has been better than the dunk contest. Is that bad to
Yeah.
say? Is that bad to say?
Yeah,
don't
because the
know.
dunk contest last year was embarrassing to watch because
I can't lie. Like, I'd rather see these NBA players shoot threes than do spectacular dunks because this is getting sad. Look who the contestants are. This is sad. This is what the
Yeah.
NBA is trying to offer. Trey Murphy Jr., who? Jericho Sims, bro. Mac McClung, a G leaguer, bro. Kenyon Martin's son.
Yeah, and then
Bro.
people say, and then they said judges for the All Star game. For the dunk contest, you got Jamal Crawford, Lisa Leslie, Dominique Wilkins, Harold Miller, and then
I'm not
Utah
watching
Jazz.
Carmelo. I'm not watching Carmelo.
Yeah, and then they have they're like, why did they even put Malone out there? People are saying, why is he judging? Like, people say, well, he's a Jazz legend. I don't want to watch him judge.
The dunk contest is a cooked product, and let me tell you why.
It makes you want to go to sleep.
Back in the day and growing up, I always looked forward to the dunk contest because the best dunkers in the NBA, the people that they put out there, were also the biggest stars in the NBA. Your
Like
Jordans,
Blake Griffin.
your Dr. J's, your Dominiques, your Jordans, Kobe, John Wall, Blake Griffin,
Dwight Howard.
George, Dwight Howard,
Nate Robinson.
That's funny. He wasn't a star, but it's Nate Robinson. That's funny.
And I would say the dunk contest
Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
You knew who those guys were at least, right? So, but now the dunk contest is turning into like Hamidou Diallo's, Trey Murphy's, borderline literal G leaguers are taking over the dunk contest.
And people don't even know that McClung kid is. People say he played for the Lakers. Like a boy said, he played for the Lakers. Wasn't he that kid who he played one game for the Lakers and he played one game for the Bulls? No one knows who he is, and he's only 6'2". So the dunk contest is going to be a laughing stock. It kind of is. Last year, Jalen Green tried dunking with a phone around his neck with the camera on or something, and that failed out. And I remember saying, well, Shaq left the dunk contest. What did you do? I didn't go to sleep, but I'm like on my phone just texting and going like, this is not even a dunk contest. I'm just like texting my buddy, and I didn't even get a video of the dunk contest. So I'm like texting I don't really care.
They put Juan Toscano Anderson in the dunk contest last year. Bro, listen, NBA, the dunk contest used to, like when people went up for dunks in the dunk contest, what was it?
They would jump over a chair.
It was first try, like pretty much every time.
Gerald Green.
They're not even making their dunks anymore. It's sad.
Like Gerald Green, he blew out a can. Like you saw Gerald Green run up and blow out a birthday candle, and he dunks it in the dunk contest. And we saw Blake Griffin, I believe I can fly, run up jump over a Kia, and that was the best dunk that I saw. Like him jumping over the Kia.
The 2011 dunk contest was headlined by DeMar DeRozan, Blake Griffin, JaVale McGee. I mean, we knew who JaVale McGee was.
A knucklehead.
We knew who Ibaka was. So these are like 4, not household names, but Blake Griffin and DeMar DeRozan. Those are stars leading the dunk contest. Now we get to this year. Murphy, Sims, McClung, Martin. Bro.
No one knows who these guys are.
Not
except for McClung.
Single dude in the United States of America owns a Trey Murphy III jersey. Who owns a Jericho Sims jersey?
Kenyon Martin. Kenyon Martin. See, if you know Kenyon Martin, the NBA player, you might own his jersey, but no one knows who Kenyon Martin Jr. is. And Mac McClung, same thing. But we got the skills challenge. That's another thing too.
I'm just telling you, like NBA, no one is gonna take. It's Saturday, bro. This thing happens on a Saturday. You know what people are doing on a Saturday? Going out, having a good time. I'm not stopping my Saturday going out to like a club so I can flip on the TV, stop what I'm doing to watch Juan Toscano Anderson in a dunk contest.
Because I remember one year that when you watch the dunk contest, what happened when people were watching the dunk contest and they saw a batter was someone just throws a beer? It's like that's just like this is a ripoff. I want to see a good dunk. And then
where's Ja?
I want to see him just dunk on someone.
I know Zion's hurt, so we're not going to see Zion.
Yeah, and LeBron, of course.
Bro. Let me see Ja.
Or LeBron. Because LeBron
will never do it. LeBron will never.
Yeah, and then of course the skills challenge. I forgot. We have the skills challenge, and you got the teams like Team Antetokounmpo, Team Jazz, and Team Rookie.
Yeah, they're doing the teams.
It's not going to be like the one-on-one thing where everyone goes at once.
I actually want to see how they're going to do that.
Yeah, and then of course we have the NBA All-Star game, or
Team
better
Jazz,
yet,
Walker Kessler, bro. Is he nice?
And then
Casual.
Colin Sexton and Clarkson. Those are the two Cavaliers. And then of course the celebrity All-Star game. Nobody even knows who these, except for 21 Savage. He's the only one. I mean, you have
let me look at the roster real quick. Hold on.
21 Savage though. He's in the celebrity All-Star game.
And this is a nice. I actually like this roster. Jesse the Laser, the YouTuber, DK Metcalf, that football player, Seahawks wide receiver, 21 Savage. I'm pretty sure there's some WNBA players in here.
Diamond DeShields.
Yeah.
Mike
Albert
the Miz.
Pujols. Shout out to Pujols. I got his jersey in the back. Baseball player.
And then of course
legend.
you got
Brown,
the
a country singer, YBN
WWE wrestler.
Not YBN anymore, but Corday. Calvin Johnson, shout out to Calvin, but it's a bunch of like WNBA. Half this list is WNBA players.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a bad thing though. I mean, I'm fine watching them. I don't care.
And then of course you got the WWE wrestling legend Mike the Miz Mazan, and is also in the game too. Then we have the Jordan Rising Stars game. Now it's not the Rising Stars Challenge where you have Team Chuck against Team Shaq or Team World versus USA. You have coaches. The coaches are Team Hal, Gasol.
Are they doing a draft or what is it?
They already did the draft. Gasol is the coach. Then you have Utah Jazz legend or Jazz player Jaren Williams.
Remember when they used to do like first world?
Yeah, that was sick.
World.
I would love that.
Remember it was Luka versus Trae Young, Zion versus Ja. Like that used to get good, bro.
Yeah, and then of course you got Team Darren, Team Joakim, Team Jason. In the format, you got 3 games, but from teams, you got for Pau Gasol's team, you got Rookie of the Year sensation. Paolo Banchero.
Kenny Lofton Jr.'s playing. They got a lot of G League guys playing here. I can't lie, like Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, Scottie Pippen Jr.
Some of those OKC boys. Oh, Mobley's playing. Okay.
Yeah.
Ayo Dosunmu. Not bad. Segun, bro. I really like this Segun guy.
Yeah,
but then if Houston wants to get really serious about being a good team in 5 years,
build around him.
Not Jalen Green, not those guys. No, Segun has to be your best player.
Shamgoon.
Not Kevin. No, it's
Porter Jr.
Not Kevin Porter. Cavs legend though.
Oh yeah, but you have injury replacements. Jalen Green. People think, what happened to Jalen Green? He's not playing in the game tonight. He's out with injury. So Dosunmu is taking his place. Also, Tyree Eaton will replace Jalen Duren. He's not playing either in the game because he's out with injury.
Alvarado's playing. Okay.
Yeah. Grand Theft Alvarado. He's fan of his. I
Scoot
like that kid.
Henderson's playing. I get to see Scoot Henderson.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be sick, dude. I wish Victor – it would have been sick if Wembanyama was playing in that.
He's in France, though. So
I wish they did. I wish they allowed it. They said, we want the foreign players to come because I would love to have for the Rising Stars game to have the people from the overseas.
If we could see Victor, like, live.
Yeah, that would be sick because I told my friends.
A little NBA hardwood. It's not like a real game, but, like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, have the Rising Stars game, but not World versus USA. And we have the foreign team, and these are the guys overseas, like Victor. I know it's just a Rising Star game, but for some of these guys like Scoot, a scout's gonna be watching this game. I can't lie. A scout might be watching this game. Because there's gonna be a lot of scouts and a lot of big A-name celebrities. And of course you have the HBCU Classic game, the G League Next Up game, which is Team
Joakim stacked. Durant, Giddey, Grimes, Mobley, Jabari Smith. Say what you want about him, and then the Jalen Williams dude, I kind of like him. The OKC boys got some nice pieces. So yeah, and then of course you have the that Giddey to Mobley lob, that pick and roll Giddey and Mobley might work out. Yeah, from the NBA All-Star game, we got to mention we have the All-Star game. That's like the biggest. Did they do the draft yet, or did I sleep in? No, they did not do the draft yet because that's going to be on Sunday with the All-Star game. They're going to do it before the game. They're not doing it. Oh, they're going to do it. They went on TNT like a couple days before and did the draft, but no, they're doing it on Sunday. Yep, and of course we have the All-Star game itself, and the big question is, if you were Giannis or LeBron sitting in the chair, is Giannis going to play? Is Giannis going to play? That's a big question too. He left the game yesterday, and he did injury. But I think he is going to play. I think he's not going to sit out. He's the captain, and there's no time for replacements. You can't call in someone like, "Hey, we need you to come down to Utah." No, they're not going to replace. Someone else would just start for him off that bench. Yeah, because the All-Star game, it's already too little, too late because some of the guys are on vacation right now. Right? Yeah, some players are in Utah. It's happened before. Where a player gets hurt right before, and they show up, but like they don't play. Yeah, and of course with the teams. In the Eastern Conference, we already know who the All-Stars are. You got Bam, Jaylen Brown, DeMar, Luka, KD, Anthony Edwards, De'Aaron Fox is a replacement, Paul George, SGA, Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, Kyrie Irving, Jaren Jackson Jr., LeBron, of course, Jokic, Damian Lillard, Utah Jazz All-Star, first-time All-Star, Larry Markkinen, Donovan Mitchell, John Morant, Julius Randle, Donatas Sabonis, Pascal Siakam, Jason Tatum, and Zion Williamson. That's the field for the All-Star game. So for the injured players, even though you can't play, I'm going to pick you, and you can be on the sideline cheering us on and eating popcorn. I just noticed that Jimmy Butler is reserved now. Jimmy's now reserved now? He's a reserve? Yeah, I'm looking at the graphic. Actually, whoa, never mind. This was a prediction. My bad. I was looking at Brunson, graphic, but it said prediction at the top. My bad. Yeah, Brunson should have made it. But the point is, if you're sitting in the chair, who would be your first pick if you were Giannis or LeBron in the All-Star game? Like if you're doing the All-Star game draft, who would you as a perspective? Like this is an All-Star game, so like some players might not translate to like All-Star. Yeah, the first pick, we saw it last year, bro. I'm going Steph Curry. I'm going Curry. But he's not playing. He's injured with his foot. Remember, he tore up something. Okay, then I'll go. I'll go Luka. I'll go Luka. Because I always do that. Like I always say, for the All-Star game, you want to pick your teams wisely because the little flasher. If you don't pick the right guy, it's gonna bite you in the butt, basically. Yeah, your opponent's gonna be stacked. Yeah, because that always ends up stacked. Because that happens in a pickup game. When you play pickup basketball, and if you don't pick me on your team as a backup point, we're going to pick up him. Dude, and that's a graphic. I need a new graphic of the starters now because if all these guys aren't playing, I need an updated graphic. Anthony Edwards is playing. Of course, Edwards is an all-star. That's a big, I'd pick Luka first pick, and then underrated sleeper pick, Kyrie Irving. Underrated sleeper in an all-star game. We've seen that man already win an All-Star Game MVP.
in New Orleans.
Underrated sleeper pick. But who do you got to win the MVP this year for All-Star?
There's a lot of good guys on the list. I mean, you got Luka, you got Edwards, you got Embiid, Fox, SGA, Paul George, Drew, Tyrese, Jaren, LeBron, Jokic, Dame, Lowry.
This might be Luka's.
Yeah, Luka. Luka's gonna, or Lowry Markkinen, because he's playing in front of the fans.
Yeah.
But I think that Lowry might go off and Luka might go off, but it might be Dame time.
Remember, Anthony Davis went off against New Orleans, but I don't think Lowry was like nowhere near as good as Anthony Davis was. But
I think that Dame should get it.
That could be a sleeper. That could be a sleeper pick.
Or Dame should get. It's Dame's time.
I think right now. I think I'll see if there's any odds, if they're actual, like you're allowed to bet on the All-Star Game MVP. But I think the favorite right now should probably be Luka. I don't know. Or
Lowry Markkinen.
It might be Giannis. It just depends if he's going to play. Or give it 100% because of his injury. But right now I'm going Luka. But I think
Lowry
sleeper. Yeah, Lowry's a sleeper for sure. Another sleeper, he's not a starter, but if he plays a lot, we got two other sleepers. Damian Lillard could be a sleeper.
It's Dame time.
Dame could be, because you need some guys who low key could like hit a couple threes. So
because last year the All-Star game, the All-Star game last year, when they said, well, the All-Star weekend, it was so weird because two people were out. Kawhi Leonard did not play because he's injured, and Damian Lillard's like, oh yeah, that's who we're missing for the All-Star game. Dame, my friend said, Dame's not an All-Star. Yes, he is. If you don't remember,
who's a sleeper?
Who's a sleeper?
Like reaching down, like really sleeper. Like this is like heavy odds against him. Donovan Mitchell. Back in Utah, Donovan Mitchell back in Utah.
Yeah, he's gonna
heavy sleeper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, here's another thing too. With Dame Lillard, it's like 2014 weekend was starring Dame Lillard. People are forgetting about the stats saying Dame was in the All-Star game in 2014. Right? Yeah, he played in he was in the Rising Stars Challenge, Skills Challenge, 3-point contest, slam dunk contest, and in the All-Star game. That doesn't get talked about much.
Actually, yeah, that's my sleeper now.
Yeah,
Donovan Mitchell back in the Utah crowd. Starting, so he's starting, so he's going to play a lot of minutes. All-Star game sleeper MVP.
I think they're going to give him. I think the Jazz fans, when they introduce him, they're not going to boo Donovan. They're probably going to give him a rousing ovation because he's playing.
I can't wait to see how the crowd reacts when they introduce the slam dunk contest judges and Karl Malone name get brought up.
Yeah, they bring up Karl. My friend even said, Karl Malone is going to be there. Yeah, Sabonis exists, but I know Sabonis exists. We know we're not snubbing the Kings.
Chris, real quick before I get off, how much stock do you put in the Sacramento Kings to do damage in the playoffs?
I don't know. They've been lighting that beam. I've been hearing my buddy's a King fanatic, and he's over there taking a purple flashlight cover, yelling, "Light the beam!" And he's like, he lights the beam every single night, and he's like, "Light the beam! That's a win!" It's dude. It's not the playoffs, and your team is doing well this year. You're the 4th seed, but if you guys go in the playoffs, whoever you have to play, it's not going to be pretty. Because I think that Phoenix, I mean, they're the 3rd seed, so 3 has to play the 6th seed. So Dallas and Sacramento. I think that Dallas is going to kill them in a 6-game series or in a 4-game series or 5 games. And Sacramento might win 1 game, and that's it. They're going to win.
Crazy. Like, listen, right? So Sacramento actually beat Dallas this year with Kyrie and Luka, like last week, right? And a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, Sacramento's proven they can beat Dallas." Hold on a second. This is the playoffs we're talking about.
It's not the regular season.
Dallas has a guy who's capable of scoring 40 in an NBA Finals. That's important.
Yep.
And they have another guy who has shown that he elevates his games to the heavens, to the ceiling when it comes to playoff time, and Luka Doncic. So you have 2 guys. Now, Luka's never done it before, but I'm confident that they have 2 guys who could score 40 in an NBA Finals. That's important. So in playoffs, there's two things not going for Sacramento. It's like, number one, I already touched on it, is that they don't have a superstar. De'Aaron Fox could be a superstar, but he hasn't cemented himself yet. And if you're going up against a Golden State, you're going up against a Lakers, you're going up against a Dallas, or if Phoenix somehow becomes 6th seed. If Phoenix lines up that way, those teams have proven superstars who can get buckets in a playoff NBA final scenario. No one in Dallas. I mean, who on Sacramento can claim that? Harrison Barnes? You're going to rely on Harrison Barnes to be your playoff performer? No. So that's like you can't go no superstar, no proven superstar yet, right?
I mean, they've obviously had
So the second point, not only do they not have a proven superstar, they have no defense.
I mean, they have Sabonis. If people say Sabonis is this and that, I don't think that's going to happen. Sacramento is not going to make it far in the playoffs, even though it'll be
the 8th worst defense in all of basketball. Listen,
I agree.
I've seen teams do some damage without defense. It's really, really hard. If you want to do damage to the playoffs without defense, you need two things. You need to get a favorable bracket, and I don't think they will because there's so many good teams in the Western Conference that are at that bottom half of the playoff standings, like a Golden State Lakers. And then if you somehow still have a favorable bracket, you need a superstar to overcome that bad defense.
They should have traded for somebody. The Kings should have done something. And I mean, I mentioned that before. When we had the trade deadline special, when we did the trade deadline special, not on here, but from the NBA guys that I'm with, we talked about these Kings. Like, what do you think the Kings need? Rim protection. I mean, at center. Of course, they have Sabonis, and they got Alex Len, who's the biggest bust in the 2014 draft, who's not really done anything. But they should have done something. They should have made a trade, or they should have brought someone in from free agency or the buyout market to add to their team, because when they get to the postseason, it's going to be different. You're going to see the same guy over and over before the season's over.
The game slows down. So all that.
Yeah.
So what Sacramento is winning a lot of games right now is because that
lighting the beam.
They have this high-powered offense in the regular season that is masking their bad defense. They're putting up 120 points a night to mask their bad defense. The game is going to slow down. The NBA point totals are going to go down. So the game's going to be a more half-court. It's not going to be as fast-paced. Points are going to go down. It's really going to be about who's your best. The playoffs are going to be about who's your best players and can you play defense. They have
and we didn't mention
they're going to be at a disadvantage. They're going to be at a superstar disadvantage and a defensive disadvantage. Their first round exit, and it's not a bad thing too, because Sacramento's going to. If Sacramento gets, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm disrespecting Sacramento too, because the fact that they got there in like what has it been like? How long has it been?
16. I don't know the record, but I think it was 16 years or 19 years they've not made the playoffs.
Well, I forgot. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
we got to mention the Lakers.
At least a decade, right? So it's been at least a decade. And the fact that they even got there, if they get swept, they're going to cherish that. But I'm just saying, but when we take that lens away, we talk for real, this team is a first round exit.
Yeah. We didn't mention
my head is itchy like crazy.
Yeah, Kings playoff drought. Here we go. Here's the playoff drought. It has been from 16 seasons. 16 seasons they not in the playoffs. But we did not mention LeBron and the Lakers in the segment yet. But the Lakers right now are the 13th spot, and we're already at the halfway point of the season. Going into this week, my buddy was talking about, they beat the Pelicans. The Pelicans are not a good team. They're lightweight. Oh, really? Was on out. When he gets back, they're not going to take. They're not lightweight.
I'm old enough to remember them actually going to the playoffs and taking Phoenix to 6 games without Zion winning.
And I keep telling my buddy. Yeah, I keep telling my buddy, you keep on talking crazy like, this team is lightweight. This team is no. There are teams that are competitive.
They went to the playoffs and pushed Phoenix without Zion.
Yeah, and they still did. They still beat them in the regular season. But for the Lakers' schedule, when they get back, they have to play Golden State, Dallas,
it's hard.
Memphis.
Oh
and they have a hard schedule.
I heard they only have 3 easy teams. I think they play the Magic and Rockets a couple times, but that's it. Everyone else is like a legit.
And Chicago. They play Chicago twice. The 26th, they're in there. They have them on their building. Then the 29th, they go to their building. And in the end of the season, they play Utah. So obviously, this is going to be a rough stretch for the Lakers, potentially if they're in the playoffs or not in the playoffs.
They play Golden State right after the All-Star break. But I'm getting the feeling, I don't know about you, I'm getting a 2018 Cavs feeling. You know when they made that trade? You remember when they made that trade, a couple of those trades in the deadline, and then as soon as they got all their new pieces back, they blew out Boston?
Remember that happened. I was watching that game live.
That Pelicans game,
it felt like
blew out the Pelicans. Say what you want about not having Zion. Pelicans went to the playoffs without Zion, pushed Phoenix to 6. So that was a good team. That Pelicans win felt like that Boston win in 2018.
Because that Cleveland team,
a running of the table of the Los Angeles Lakers, and it's scary. I do not
like the Pelicans did last season.
I don't think that this is a championship team, Lakers. Most people would probably just. I don't think this is a finals team, but this is a team that could go to a West Finals if they string it all together and they ride a win streak. Because they have the personnel to do it. They have the deep bench. They have the superstars. They got better defensively. They're not that crazy defensively, but they did get better. And I think this team has proven they can do it in these situations.
Because the Lakers right now, with the Cleveland Cavalier comparison, it's like when they traded away Isaiah Thomas and all those guys, and they got Rodney Hood, Clarkson, and Nance.
And they blew out the Boston Celtics. I remember
on Paul Pierce's jersey night. Because I remember
Clarkson was going crazy.
Yeah, and then you saw LeBron on the bench going like when you were watching that game live, you were jumping up and no, my friend was just like, hey, let's get. And then they saw me do the reaction where they said, we've never seen you smile.
2018, the Cavs won 121-99.
Yeah, and Kyrie Irving was like, oh, yeah, they're the better team. This is the better team when we played them the first time. But I'm just saying,
and they had Kyrie. So, like, this wasn't a bad win.
Yeah, they took the series. They took that regular season series 2-1.
Rodney Hood was going crazy. They shot 50% from 3.
Rodney Hood, Jetty Osman.
Clarkson was going crazy. Osman was
Nance.
LeBron did his thing. Jordan Hill,
George Hill.
They're doing their things, bro.
And then J.R. Smith dunked all over Aaron. I remember
no Kevin Love too. No Kevin Love.
Yeah, Kevin Love had the broken hand, of course, but that bench. I mean, when they played the Hawks, when they made the trade, when they played the Hawks, like, well, who's starting? Kevin Love broke his. Well, the lineup is going to be Calderon, Jeff Green, of course. Yeah, Tristan was out there out rebounding and muscling them. LeBron was going crazy.
It was like funny. I was like, the Cavs team was so bad, but they were still multiple games above 500. And then when you look at this Lakers team, they're multiple games below 500. So it's kind of crazy how the Cavs, despite how bad that team was before the deadline,
the final,
they still were above 500 before the deadline.
Yeah, and they went to because I remember mentioning the roster saying in 2018 you had 3 point guards and 2 of them were out. Who was starting? Calderon was, and my friend said he loved Jose Calderon in Cleveland because he brought in energy. And in the playoffs, when Hill had his back injury, he's like, is he starting today? Yeah, Calderon started. Like, awesome. I like seeing him play instead of George Hill. And then he likes him because he's from Spain, and he's always like, I'm a Spaniard fan of his. I got all of his jerseys. So he's a huge fan of Calderon, and he's like a fan. He's a fanboy. Like, as in Cleveland, when he saw him, he got his autograph. But the point is, I think that the Lakers can turn it up the second half of the season, because even though they have Golden State and the Warriors have their own issues with injuries and Steph not being back, I still think they can beat the Warriors, and they can still beat all these other teams like Toronto, Memphis, Dallas. Of course, they play Houston and Chicago and Utah. So it will be interesting. And they're like, well, they play the Phoenix Suns, right? Yeah, my dad always looks forward to that game saying, I want the Suns to beat up on the – okay, this is not the playoffs. This is not the year when AD got hurt. So quit gloating about Phoenix this, Phoenix that. They failed last year, and they still have that bad taste in their mouth from losing to Luka. Now that Durant's there, the pressure's on them. And I've said it best for the second half of the season for Phoenix. Championship or bust. Because if you guys don't make the final, or if you don't make it to the NBA Finals, there's going to be a ton of changes for the Phoenix Suns. We've already seen Jay Crowder get moved, and the other dominoes got moved for you. And the other question will be for DeAndre Ayton. If you don't get it done, you're the next guy on the whatchamacallit, the trade. Or possibly they should trade Ayton. But And Monty Williams is on the hot seat as well, too, because if Phoenix does not make the playoffs or if they fail in the playoffs, I expect Monty to be filing his resignation or him losing his job because the Suns this year have been a dumpster fire, and there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen if the team fails, and there's a lot of pressure on them. So we have to wait and see because this weekend is NBA All-Star Weekend, and there's no games. A little thing to mention, no more NBA basketball games until next Thursday. So you have to hang in there if you're a big NBA fanatic and be patient because these guys are on vacation. So
Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning into the 16th episode of Some Casual Takes. Shout out to Chris for the NBA content, pulling up, always ready to go. Talk about the state of the NBA. I'm Stephen Pepper. Thank you for tuning in.
Heck yeah.